Hello, welcome to the Eugenics podcast. I'm Patrick Merricks.
I'm Marius Turda.
I'm Marius. How are you doing?
All right, Patrick, it's good to see you. I'm very well, thank you.
You too. So today we're talking about sport, eugenics and sport, how eugenic ideas interacted with sport and how this continues today in some respects. So we picked up this article about covert racism in long distance running. So do eugenic ideas persist here, Marius?
That's a good example to illustrate a long debate in the history of scientific racism and eugenics. Namely, do different races have different physical and mental abilities? Are people of African descent able to run faster than people of European descent? So in the 19th century, all eugenicists were struggling to explain how you could achieve the best combination of both physical and mental abilities within the population, within a particular group, within a particular social category. So that's a very long-standing debate, and within that conversation, we can see recurrent eugenic and racist tropes being used to isolate, exoticize, explain certain physical anomalies, such as this one here, that it is due to their nature, it is due to their environment, that the Africans or people of African descent are better at certain sports, particularly long distance running. Notwithstanding criticism and scientific arguments to the contrary, people still believe that that's something innate and that can be explained eugenically in terms of their physical abilities and the way their body is being nourished and cultivated throughout their life.
Let's begin by looking at early 20th century physical culture. So what are some of these theories then?
The idea about certain bodies having certain abilities, and of course within that certain races having certain abilities, works across bigger debates in the 19th century about what can be done to counter what they believe to be the degeneration of the industrialized nations, particularly people in Europe. So degeneration leads to physical decline. We need to counter that with a very strong physical culture. So that becomes extremely popular across Europe, particularly in Germany, France, Britain, and the Scandinavian countries, and also in the United States of America. So you have this renewed focus on individual and collective fitness. We need to get back to nature. We need to get outdoors. We need to work on our physical abilities. We need to work on our body. So we could see this with the male body. There is a reenactment of masculinity, the white superior male, the epitome of superior physical prowess. At the same time, we see that happening with the female body, the beatification of the white female, the femininity being expressed to a superb and very lithe body that can be achieved through physical exercise. Within that, of course, it is the debate about white superior people and white bodies being the embodiment of perfection. As much as they were from the beginning of the classical European civilization back in ancient Greece.
So these ideas certainly feed into the development of the modern Olympic Games, sort of as we know them today. So how do these ideas interact with the Olympics?
Scientific racism and eugenics creates a renewed interest in classical antiquity that existed in other disciplines and in other fields of scientific and cultural knowledge. But within the debate about physical culture and eugenics and morality and physical exercise and the fortification of the male and female body, in other words, the creation of a superior race, you have the reenactment and the renewal and or the revival of the Olympic Games It starts with the creation of the first Olympic Committee in 1894, which is basically a handful of people who believed in the superiority of the European culture, also in the importance of morality and physical exercise and eugenics. Then you have the first modern Olympic Games reenacted in Athens in 1896. And that kind of ethos permeates through the subsequent Olympic Games organized in St. Louis 1904 and London 1908, reaching, of course, the culmination of Olympic Games under Nazi Germany in 1936. The Games by then, of course, were seen by the Nazi regime and by scientific racists and eugenicists across the world as the possibility to finally demonstrate the superiority of the white and Nordic races. And then explain that there is clearly a dysfunctionality, abnormality, and inferiority when it comes to the physical prowess of the Jewish and Black people, which turned out to be completely wrong. Of course, as we know, Jewish athletes won Olympic game medals rather, and we have this wonderful example and a very powerful and inspiring example provided by Jesse Owens, who actually won 4 gold medals, proving that there is nothing inferior or weak about a Black athlete.
So some alternating theories sort of coming out of Italy and some South America on neo-Lamarckism and biotypology. So how is this different?
This discussion about sports and physical culture in a way illustrates bigger debates within eugenics, which are the best way forward. Is it strong hereditary and Mendelian strategies that could be adopted to fortify and strengthen the race? Or we could adopt a more neo-Lamarckist or biotypological approach. So the divide amongst eugenicists also is reflected in the divide amongst people supporting various ways to strengthen individual and collective bodies. And we have this example coming from Eastern Europe, from fascist Italy, and from South America, countries which adopted biotypology and adopted a more neo-Lamarckist interpretation of heredity and the importance of the environment to focus on strengthening the body of the nation. So that's the way it actually worked during the interwar period, but it continued to work after 1945 as well, particularly in South America.
So returning to more recent sort of stories, with a new focus on heredity since sort of the mapping of the human genome and things like that. So, we see sort of this another focus on heredity again in sport.
Yes, we see that debate between those who would argue for a more hereditarian view and those who argue for a more environmental view, emerging again after 1980s, 1990s, particularly regarding the discussion about certain genes. So can we actually have an athlete gene being cultivated or being singled out, and we can have offspring designed to become not only super intellectual individuals, but also super athletic and performers of great athletic feats. So you have this possibility, at least in theory, of people debating that. So with this a reinvention, if you wish, of the long-standing debate between nature and nurture. What is more important in fostering physical ability and cultivating the possibility of extraordinary physical attainment? Is it nature, is it heredity, or is it nurture and it is training and having the proper environment?
Yeah, so on top of this, there's also moves sort of some people in favor of human enhancement through gene doping, some people against it. Sort of, what is gene doping in
Gene
sport?
doping, gene doping suggests the possibility of using DNA to enhance a particular physical ability. You want to have it enhanced. So if gene therapy is being used to restore through the use of DNA a particular function, it's got this restorative nature. Gene doping basically is used to enhance and augment certain abilities. So we could see this now moving into the broader conversation we have about human enhancement and eugenics and how that is affecting the world of sport. And this is a debate that continues, and we'll see what is ethically permissive and what is morally acceptable. But as we've seen at the beginning, when it all started, the assumption is always that people of certain groups belonging to certain ethnic categories may be more endowed than others at performing physical activities and better at sports.
That's another interesting conversation today, Marius. So thanks to everyone for viewing, and once again, Marius, thank you, and see you next time.
Thank you, Patrick. Until next time.